guys, this is Kristen with HK Wax Center. I'm going to talk to you today about how long your hair should be for you to get waxed. Now, before I jump in, if any of y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment down below, like, or subscribe. And then if any of y'all are on Facebook and you are a licensed esthetician or cosmetologist or currently in SD or Cosmo school, feel free to join Wax Club if you would like. It's just a really great group of professionals who are super helpful and are always giving tips and tricks to one another. It's a really good community. So, okay, let's jump in. So, how long should your hair be to get waxed? Okay, so I can definitely help with this. Now, I know it's nerve-wracking scheduling your first appointment, but the last thing you want to do is go to your appointment, get on the table, and have your waxer tell you your hair is not long enough. That has happened so many times more than I can count. So I would really like to avoid anyone from doing that in the future. Now, your hair needs to be about 1/4 of an inch or about the length of a grain of rice. That's like the sweet spot. This normally happens between like 3 and 6 weeks, depending on your hair growth cycle and like how fast your hair comes back in. So it needs to be able to be long enough for the wax to be able to adhere to the hair. So I only use hard wax. This also goes for soft wax though, but for hard wax especially, the wax is going to encompass the hair and like suction cup it to be able to pull it out. So if there isn't enough poking out of the skin, the wax won't be strong enough to pull it out from the root, and it's just going to end up cutting it off at the surface and breaking it, which is completely not what anybody wants, because if you're gonna do that, you might as well shave. But yeah, you definitely I do not recommend getting waxed earlier than every 3 weeks. Now, is there a chance that you can get waxed earlier and the wax still pull the hair from the root? Yes, of course there is. However, the times that has happened, especially if I've had people who are like begging me, like, I'm going on vacation next week, it's only been 2 weeks, but can you please just take whatever you can get? Okay, fine, I can do that. But in that situation, at least with my own experience, the hair does not all come out. If anything, you might get like half of it, and that's like a good thing. Or a good percentage, not a good thing, it's still bad, but a good percentage. So then if you do that, then you got to shave the rest of it. Then your hair growth cycles are all out of whack because some has been pulled out from the root and some hasn't, and it causes a huge mess. So I do not recommend anything earlier than 3 weeks. Now, I also don't recommend getting waxed too much later than 6 weeks from your last shave. Okay, now why is this? So the wax needs to be able to get to as close to the skin as possible in order to encompass the hair. So if you have, say, someone who hasn't done any kind of like Brazilian maintenance for like 6 months, the hair is going to be really long and there's going to be a lot of it. So it's going to be hard for the wax to get through all of the hair and reach the base of that. Think of like a volcano, and lava is flowing down the volcano, and then all of a sudden there's a ton of big boulders on the volcano, and the lava then has to go over the boulder to keep going. Okay, well, it's going to be really hard for that lava to reach the base, like underneath the boulder or the rocks, for it to reach the bottom of that. So it's kind of the same thing with wax. That was like a strange example that I used, but same thing with wax. If there's so much hair piled on top of each other and it's so long, whenever the waxer lays the wax on, it's going to be really hard for them to actually ensure they're getting the wax all the way to your skin and not just putting wax on the top layer of hair. Because if that happens and then they pull it, they're only going to be yanking part, like the top, and it's going to be really painful, and it's going to break a lot of hairs. So I always say the sweet spot is between 3 and 6 weeks. Anything earlier than 3 weeks is too short. Anything longer than 3 weeks, longer than 6 weeks is going to be potentially too long. I've obviously had people who can go 8 weeks and stuff like that, but that's, for most people in my experience, that's been like the happy time to get waxed. So I hope this helps. Any questions, let me know. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.